It will come here to LA. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sandra Mitchell.
And I'm Dave Gonzalez. Our top story here this afternoon at 12 o'clock. Some exciting news from all of us here in Southern California. Space Shuttle in Denver will make the California Science Center its new home next year. KCAL9's Kent Shocknick live in the newsroom now with the good news from NASA. Kent.
It's literally uplifting, Dave. A competition to land one of the retiring space shuttles has been going on across the U.S. It's almost like one of those competitions to get the Olympics. Some 24 museums or centers all vying for one of the 3 remaining orbiters. And now we know this noon hour Space Shuttle Endeavour, the newest shuttle in NASA's shuttle fleet, has been cleared for a permanent landing right here. It'll go to the California Science Center and Exposition Park. Rockwell built the Endeavour here in Southern California after the explosion of Space Shuttle Challenger. Its final flight is set for later this month, the second to last shuttle mission ever. With Mark Kelly, husband of Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords, in command, NASA announced its plans for Endeavour less than an hour ago.
The California Science Center in Los Angeles, only a few miles from the site of the old Rockwell plant, where the shuttle was developed and from where its construction was managed, will be the new home of the shuttle on the launch pad preparing its final mission, Endeavour. Take good care of our vehicles. They've served the nation well, and we at NASA have a deep and abiding relationship and love affair with them that's hard to put into words. Now,
supporters of parking Endeavour here in the Southland say the California Science Center and Exposition Park makes sense. The shuttles were built in Southern California and tested here. You know this view from Sky 2. Over the past 30 years, we've seen Edwards Air Force Base used frequently as a backup landing runway. So there's the whole Southern California connection. This, the Science Center, is part of Expo Park's grouping of museums located just south of USC, close to the Coliseum. The area already is getting busier with a metro rail extension, and with Endeavour going on display, it's about to get busier still. By the way, shuttles Atlantis going to the Kennedy Space Center, Discovery to the Smithsonian. Today's announcement coming on the 30th anniversary of the very first space shuttle flight. Live in the newsroom, I'm Ken Shocknick, KCAL9 News.
Just before midnight, Los Angeles got the first glimpse of something never seen before. A 78-ton spaceship, 5 stories tall, 78-foot wingspan, moving majestically through dense city streets. It was a dramatic entrance fit for Hollywood.
Gave me goosebumps.
Project manager Ken Carrion is responsible for getting Endeavour through the streets of L.A.
I had no idea how the community would be coming together. It's just so special.
It has been a remarkable journey for the Endeavour from outer space to inner city. This might not be its riskiest mission, but possibly its most complicated. Its 12-mile trek at 2 miles an hour goes over freeways, down boulevards, through neighborhoods. Almost 400 trees were cut down to make way. 2,700 metal plates laid down to strengthen roadways. Power lines were lifted, stoplights removed. So it's like an obstacle course.
It is an obstacle course, yeah.
Mike Lofts is one of 6 operators using this joystick to maneuver the 6 computerized transporters carrying Endeavour. They can move in any direction. Mike's father, Gordon, is an operator too. This is not the biggest thing you've ever moved.
Definitely not. Nobody has ever moved anything more significant.
Endeavour should reach its new home at the Science Center Saturday night. Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Los Angeles.
A celebration to mark the end of a stellar career. After 299 days in space, flying 25 missions, Space Shuttle Endeavour took a last lap of honour over Los Angeles on Friday. The spaceship has travelled across America, hitching a lift on the back of a specially modified Boeing 747. Crowds cheered from Griffith Park and Observatory as the famous spacecraft soared overhead towards its retirement home. And it even took time to visit a few sites along the way. In downtown Los Angeles, office workers waited on rooftops to catch a glimpse. And in Santa Monica, beachgoers were treated to the sight of the shuttle and its escort looping over the ocean and past the iconic Santa Monica Pier. After 123 million miles and 4,671 orbits, she touched down at Los Angeles airport to a fanfare.
To come, because we're kind of more than 3/4 of the way down the runway, so it's got a ways to taxi here. Normally it would turn off on a taxiway. I don't know if they're going to do that. They might just let it taxi all the way down on the main runway. We'll see what they do here. We can just see the very, very top of the vertical stabilizer as it's coming over that barrier, but you've got a much better view where you are.
Yeah, we
and
have
it's
a fabulous
slowly going to
view.
make its way here.
We see the American flag blowing. It's quite a sight.
You're going to hear a mighty roar when everybody here in the stand is able to see it, which should be in about a minute or so. And here it comes. These 747s were both in commercial service. One was in Japan Airlines, which is the one I believe they're using today. The other one was an American airline plane. And you can see they've got the American flag flying out of the cockpit up there. So what you're seeing right here on the screen now is what about 320 people in these stands are seeing. This is a view from our camera here. Going very, very slowly. Wow. The last landing for the Space Shuttle Endeavour. It's also a good view of the 3 metal supports that hold the shuttle in place.
Yeah, one thing you notice is how thin they are. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's really not much, is it, at all? But it's bolted on there. It's going to take them several hours to actually lift it off. I was asking Dr. Phillips, in addition to the shuttle, what else they received from NASA, and he said the mechanism to get it off the 747 onto a trailer and then to get it off again once it gets to the Science Museum. I said, yeah, that had to be a pretty important piece of equipment.
Yeah, they don't want to forget that. That could slow things down. They have so much work ahead of them now, though, and it's going to be such a tedious process. They have to, as you said, use the crane and the giant sling, take that off. And then they're going to be doing some work with it, a lot to get ready for that slow trek through the city.
Yeah, but before that's going to sort of like lay low in a hangar, United Airlines hangar there for a little while before, as you mentioned, it takes that long trek. But what an incredible sight as it makes its way into LAX.
Yeah, I think one of the most amazing things is just listening to the music and seeing that flag.
Of course, the crowds erupting as soon as it comes into view. Hey, Chuck, we still got you, right?
Yep, I'm right here, and you can see one of the crew members sticking his head out that hatch, who's holding the American flag. Exciting for us here on the ground. You've got to know that it's been an incredible flight for the 4 people that were in that 747. That's going to be something to tell their kids about for sure.
Absolutely. Not only did they do a wonderful thing, a historic thing, but they took the tour of their lives. What a tour.
Oh, yeah.
All the landmarks.
What a thrill.
Amazing. And they must just be thrilled, too, at the people who came out. They flew so low. They absolutely had a fabulous view of all of the people who came out.
Kathy, you're absolutely right. People don't realize it, but even on a plane this big, flying that fast, you still get a tremendous view of what's going on in the ground. And for sure, they saw hundreds of thousands of people that came out today to watch them. Well, they're putting the chocks now under the main landing gear. They will shut the engines down in just a moment. They've done it right now.
So, Chuck, if you can, just briefly, you're just feet away from it. What's it like to see it up close and personal like this?
Michael, that's easy. Wow, that's big. Holy cow. That is big, big, big. It's amazing. Just looking, I'm looking at the tiles because I've heard so much about the tiles. It has scorch marks on the shuttle. I mean, it looks like a shuttle that's actually been in space many times.
Yeah, I was reading you can sponsor a tile, and you can actually make a donation and I guess sponsor a tile. Oh. That's one of the ways that you can contribute to this project.
And the other thing that I'm amazed at is the engineering feat that figured out the aerodynamics of how you could put this on the back of a 747 and then fly it. It's amazing. Originally they were going to use an Air Force plane, but the Air Force apparently wanted control over the plane. NASA didn't want that, so they decided, you know what, the 747 might work out. So they purchased one. They got a used one from American Airlines, and it worked out perfectly during the test flights, and later they picked up this second one from Japan Airlines. These are early model 747s, the 100 series, but a workhorse built by Boeing, an incredible aircraft.
Oh, it's actually fun to have you out there because you're the pilot. Conan is the science buff. I'm just wondering what his reaction was. What was Conan doing?
Conan, Mr. Science, what's your reaction?
It's hard to put it into words, frankly, Chuck. You and I have never been this close to a shuttle before. You can see it bears some of the scars of the 25 missions. This is the 26th mission. A remarkable piece of engineering, of avionics, of science, of discovery on the back of this 747. It's astonishing. It's really, really quite remarkable. Endeavour, of course, V-O-U-R, spelled after the 18th century British ship. And now we hear the singing of God Bless America. There's going to be a brass band playing here as well. That's already started. That was Fanfare for the Common Man, Aaron Copland's music as it rolled down the runway. And we're going to hear some.
I'm Mark Brown. Here's the latest at 11 o'clock. We have a live look at Endeavour right now, right alongside the 405 freeway in Inglewood, where it will soon begin a very delicate maneuver crossing over a bridge over the freeway hauled by a Toyota Tundra pickup truck. Our live team coverage includes Amy Powell live in Inglewood with some excited shuttle watchers. And first we go to Eyewitness News reporter Alex Michelson. He's at Manchester and La Cienega to tell us about tonight's tricky maneuver crossing that 405 freeway. Alex.
Mark and Michelle, welcome to perhaps the most logistically challenging and expensive commercial shoot ever. Behind me you can see the Space Shuttle Endeavour, and right in front of it is a Toyota Tundra. That's what's actually going to drive it across the 405 freeway. We just saw one of the astronauts from Endeavour is actually in the passenger seat. An entire film crew is in place getting ready to turn this presumably into a commercial. Let's take a live look from above. You can see Endeavour, and you can also see that Manchester Avenue over the 405 is lined with lights so that the production can go ahead as planned. This whole setup has taken several hours. It flew 123 million miles in space, but the 0.2 of a mile drive over the 405 freeway is perhaps the most complicated. The 160-wheel Blue Crawler that's carried Endeavour all over Los Angeles is too heavy for state weight restrictions on the Manchester Avenue overpass. So, crews moved it off of it and onto a dolly, half as heavy. Driving the dolly and towing nearly 300,000 pounds, this Toyota Tundra truck.
You could buy this exact truck at the dealership.
Longtime stuntman Matthew McBride is the driver.
How does a truck like this tow 300,000 pounds? With a lot of tests. We tested over and over to make sure it would do it. We towed it up to 307,000 pounds. What we're towing here today is supposed to be 292,000.
A shuttle that once flew 17,500 miles an hour in space is moving at just 2 miles an hour through the Southern California streets. That's allowing plenty of time for thrilling photo ops for the young, old, and even some space-loving reporters.
The phrase once in a lifetime is way overused, but this is once in a lifetime. Here she is, Endeavour. But let's pause for a moment. We are now being shaded by the wings of this shuttle.
Wow, that is awesome.
Look at this. I mean, and look at the detail that you can see when we're getting this close.
Tonight, big crowds also have big smiles near the shuttle crossing. Some law enforcement officers are even acting like tourists.
We're all very excited. We're like kids. Everyone's taking pictures, sergeants, lieutenants. Our chief is here, and he even said he bought a new shirt for the occasion.
The shuttle's future home, the California Science Center, says it will cover the cost of all the extra security and move power lines, and it's not cheap.
The total campaign to do everything, to cost for NASA, cost for our temporary building, cost for the move, cost for our permanent exhibit building. We're doing a $200 million fundraising campaign.
Most here think it's money well spent.
This is the epitome of Americana. I mean, it can't get any better than this.
Former NASA astronaut Garrett Reisman says Endeavour gave him his first ride to space.
Endeavour was born here. The people that built her, designed her, they all lived here in Southern California. So she's coming home, and now it's my home too.
He says Endeavour's new mission is to inspire the next generation. And on that front, it's clearly already a success.
As we look live above, as again that commercial could begin and the Tundra could start rolling in a matter of minutes. I asked the driver of that Tundra, he's done commercials and movies for nearly 20 years. Are you nervous? And he admitted, yes, I am nervous for this, but he says usually gets numb before he begins his stunt rides. As we come back down here live on the ground, that spectacular view of the Space Shuttle Endeavour in all of its glory here. It's a 78-foot wingspan stretched along Manchester. There's a palpable energy out here, people getting excited as it's about to finally move after all these hours of waiting. So this could happen within a matter of minutes. We will be here live to show it to you as the crowd is getting ready to roar. Reporting live, Alex Michelson, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, what a great commercial for Toyota, and I love that shuttle crossing sign, Alex. That's classic.